reference over here, which I'm drawing from, which is a photograph, and it's approximately square. Now I have a series of pencils here, and that's a 4B, that's a B, that's a 4B, and that's an 8B. So I'm going to roughly sketch it in with this lighter pencil, just drawing very softly with it. And the reason is I don't want to commit too quickly to anything. I want to go back and change things if I need to. If I do need to erase, I use this kneaded eraser, which I'll soften up here a little bit. I'm taking liberties with my reference. I don't want to just simply copy a photograph. That's no good. You want to make improvements to the overall composition and linear quality of your photograph or your motif if you're outside. One thing, if you start focusing on the details too quickly, you can make some errors that you wouldn't otherwise make, and one of those is just the proportions here that I've into my road is really about 1/4 of my scene. This scene is the foothills near Liberty, Utah. So I'm looking for my darkest darks now. I'm just trying to put those in. Seeing where my lightest lights are. It looks like my lightest lights are in the foreground right here. But I want to minimize that because I want this to shift from a lighter value to, or a darker value to a lighter value, so it'll pull the eye in. You have a big problem if you make this your lightest spot of your road, because it'll become your focal point. You have to make your lightest spot back here. So one of the many ways that you kind of tweak reality a little bit to get it to do what you want. Now these shadows are a little bit darker in my reference material, but I'm going to keep them light because I think I'm going to have to do that in order to keep that plane reading as one mass. So I don't want to disrupt that with some darks. I don't want to punch some holes in there. I'm going to get a darker pencil here just to give me more firepower. Now what I'm trying to do here is solve my problems. Like one of my problems here is my tree was starting to have too hard of an edge. When I paint that, I don't want to paint that with a really hard edge, so I want to indicate that here. You might say that my sketch is a rehearsal for my painting. So I'm not trying to make a beautiful sketch per se. What I'm trying to do is just solve some issues here, and about value mostly. It's easy to think of composition as just line, but it's also the way the darks and lights lead your eye through the scene. So you want to be sure that you don't focus too much on the linear aspects and neglect the values of the scene. I think you need a little detail to slow the eye down and let the eye kind of meander around. And there's a little bit of detail. It'll just sort of stop the eye just for a brief second. Okay. The trees are starting to have the right value. Bring out my big guns here. This is a woodless pencil, 8B. Now right now, the grass, or the land plane, the earth plane, is about the same value as this, and since this is more upright to the sun, it should be a little bit darker, so we're going to have to fix that. The detail looks better actually when the value shifts are very subtle. Now as I darken that, that means I've got to darken my bluff, or my foothills, a little bit too, so everything's got to be relative. That's a B, so that's a good pencil to kind of put a glaze, you might say, over the, just knock it down just a hair, Well, I think that's pretty well finished. Obviously I can always go back in and add a few things. If you need to add a little light, you can always come in here and pull out just a hair. I think that's it. I hope these ideas have been interesting, and if you have any comment or questions, I hope you'll add them in the comments section. Thank you.